What is up guys, it's your boy Solheim here, back with another Classic WoW video for Season of Discovery. Now, today I want to pop by and say hello, and talk about my Phase 2 preparations, the final part, and what I'm personally doing for Phase 2 prep. I think it's important to make this video now and talk about it this weekend, because one of the things that I'm doing, there is a time restriction on, and you basically have to do it before Monday, so you have this weekend to do that part. It's not very significant, but it will definitely help you out, no matter how you choose to level. If you're dungeon farming, if you're just running around, if you're doing quests, whatever you're doing, if you're farming mobs as well, whatever you're doing, that final thing does help you out a little bit. Now, for the prep itself, I'm just going to go through what I'm personally doing so you can emulate what I'm doing in one way, shape or form. The first prep that I've done is obviously pre-questing, so we have 19 quests pre-completed. I'm still lacking one, I was up at 20, but I had to abandon one so I could keep doing the weekly quest in Ashenvale for reputation with the Silver Ring Sentinels. I'm basically choosing to do the weekly event here and get like that one weekly quest with 1000 reputation rather than farming Warzone Gulch, so I'm probably going to come back and do that event even at level 14, just because at that point I can get some honor points while doing the event and get 1000 reputation for 2 minutes of work every single week rather than farming Warzone Gulch. I might even end up farming a little bit of Warzone Gulch, but you get the point. So 19 out of 20 quests so far, we're going to pick up one more, and I'm centering my quests around basically one place. So we have, well, not one place, but fairly close together. We have Duskwood and Stormwind, so we have a bunch of quests here that we're handing in Duskwood, and we have a couple of them that are in Stormwind, like Retrieval from Moran is in Stormwind, this one is in Stormwind, and a bunch of these Stockades quests are also either in Stormwind or in Duskwood. And after I'm done in Stormwind and Duskwood, I'm going to be Hearthstoning to Wetlands, at which point we have a bunch more quests to do in Wetlands as well, a couple of them actually giving us a pretty good quest chain, like for example the Dark Iron War. I think this one leads to a quest chain as well, but more importantly the war banners. Handing in the war banners gives you a follow-up to talk to the catapult and then kill an elite afterwards, which I can do solo just by kiting him on the road. And as you can see, we have all the quest items in the bank right now, so they don't take up additional space. In addition to that, we have basically, I'm going to do 20 quests plus 2 more. So we have the old history book from Duskwood, and we have the waterlogged envelope. The book is like a zone-wider drop from Duskwood, so just farm mobs for that one if you haven't done it already. And then the waterlogged envelope you can pick up in, if I go to Wetlands, it's like in the Wetlands, but you have to jump off from the bridge. So one more time, over here you have a quest basically here. It's called Sully Baloo's Letter, so you just jump down, you pick this one up, it's 2450 experience, and it even leads to a follow-up as well, giving you quite a lot of experience, and they're all in Ironforge. You want to go to Ironforge anyway at some point, just to do your cloth hand-ins for that experience as well. You can do the wool hand-in, and at level 26, I think it's 26 or 27, you can also unlock the cloth, the silk hand-ins, so you can hand in silk as well. So both wool and silk you can hand in every single capital city. Now, at the start of Phase 2, we are going to be doing a guild raid as well, so we're going to be everyone gather at the entrance of BFD, at least that's the plan for now, and we're going to do one guild raid together, and then we're going to scatter and do whatever people are doing to level up. Some people are doing questing, some people are farming mobs in the open world, and some people are doing dungeon leveling. It's just, we meet up first, because that is the easiest way to gather every single person, and we test out BFD to see how much experience we end up getting from BFD, because Blizzard, or like the developers, they have said that we are going to be getting a significant amount of experience from doing BFD, but they haven't really said how much. They have just said a significant amount, so that can be like, what, 10,000 experience, half a level, could even be a full level. We just don't know until we try, so we're going to try that at launch and see exactly how much we get. Now let's talk about the time-restricted thing that you should prepare right now if you want to really min-max your prep for Phase 2, and that is getting the Darkmoon Fair buff. Darkmoon Fair is currently up, especially in EU. Yeah, in EU right now it's available in Mulligore, so you still have to travel to the Horde place and get the buff right outside Thunderbluff, right? So you have to go over here to get it, which is really like lucky for Horde and kind of bad timing for the Alliance, but either way, we should be able to get the buff, make a raid if you have to, like make a 40-man raid and go and get the buff together and then just Hearthstone back. This one, the thing is you can get it on Sunday and then you can just boon it. So our plan, like the people that want to, I'm just gonna like tell people and let you know, and then you can do it if you want to. You basically get the buff, it lasts for 2 hours, you boon the buff, and if you have to do any raids between Sunday and when Phase 2 comes out, just do a buffless raid. So for example, on the EU, the raid is resetting on Sunday, and a couple of us are going to be getting the buff tomorrow, like on Saturday, which means that we will not be able to use that buff in the raid on Sunday, because in that case, you have to be logged on for 4 hours without the buff to get it one more time. So for us, we just won't have enough time to grab it after the raid on Sunday. So we are going to be getting DMF tonight or tomorrow, and then we're going to be basically booning that buff and doing a buffless raid. The raid, like BFD, is quite easy anyway. We don't really need the buff, like the world buff, to do that. So we're just gonna have a full 2 hours of the Darkmoon Fair buff when that comes out. In addition, when you are booning your buffs, you should be getting the boon of the Black Fathom as well. You can either prep that now, this weekend, then just do one raid without any world buffs, or you can get that the day before Phase 2 comes out. This buff gives you 20% movement speed, which is good no matter how you want to level. If you're doing dungeon farming, if you're questing in the open world, especially if you're questing, 20% is massive, and then also a bunch of attack power, spell power, and just a bunch of good stats, right? So this buff right here, definitely get this one. If you really want to min-max, try to have someone in your guild have the pearl on an alt or something, then meet up every 2 hours and hand in the pearl. Like, try to schedule that in somehow if you really wouldn't want to min-max, right, to have the buff with a 100% uptime, if somehow possible. In addition to that, you have the Ashenvale Rallying Cry for 5% damage and healing, and the thing is, Phase 2 is coming out on a Thursday, which if you're playing in EU, that quest resets on Wednesday, so my plan is to do not BFD but Ashenvale on Wednesday, and have one of those marks ready to hand in that week during the reset. That way you just have one more quest, so you can have 20 quests pre-completed, and you can have 3 quest items in your banks or bags that can start quests. So personally, once again, we have the old history book, we have the Waterlogged envelope, plus I will have the mark from Ashenvale as well, which is going to give me the buff, first of all, 5% damage and healing, and then a bunch of experience, and also give me reputation that I also need. Now, getting back to preparations, one more thing that I've personally done is to get all the significant flight paths for Phase 2. So for example, run down to Desolus and get this flight path. If you're playing Alliance, it's in Nigel's Point, and for Horde, I believe it's in Shadowplay Village, right? And you probably also want to grab the flight path in Tarnaris, because first of all, Tarnaris by itself will be relevant, but for Alliance, it's also the fastest way to go to 1000 Needles in the Shimmering Flats. So if you want to quest at all in Shimmering Flats, definitely have the flight path to Tarnaris, and while you're at it, go and get this one, the one to the west basically in 1000 Needles, all the way over here. Might as well go and grab that one as well, because you do have one quest to kill a bunch of wyverns in this location, which by the way gives you about 3,500 experience. So if you want to pre-quest and you haven't done that quest already, like it's located over here, the High Perch Venom, it's even a good farm. You can do it now as a gold farm, plus get 3,650 experience ready to hand in Theramore. The chances are you're probably going to be going to Theramore at some point anyway, especially if you're questing. But even if you're dungeon farming, like if you're doing RFD for example, or RFK, either one of those, you're probably going to end up going to this place in Dustwallow, so you can just have this quest ready to go for a bunch of experience that way as well. Now, there are 2 more things that I'm personally prepping. Number 1 is professions, so try to have whatever you need to skill up your profession a couple of points. How much you want to skill up beforehand, like how much you want to have prepped here, is definitely up to you. But for example, anything that's orange for me, I just have enough to craft 20 of them, so I can go for Invoker's Cord, Invoker's Mantle. I'm basically using TSM to show me the crafting cost in this case, so you can see it costs me 39 silver for 1 skill point in this case. Right now that gives me a profit, but this profit margin might go away when phase 2 comes out. You might want to have something with a pretty good disenchant value, so just look at their disenchant values and try to like make a guess that way, or look at their vendor costs so you can make some vendor flips as well. The lesser wizard robe, for example, also 37 silver, so for me to have 20 skill points prepped, it's about 7 gold, which we definitely have. So professions, really good to just have that ready to go right now. I think a bunch of these materials could go up in price when phase 2 comes out, plus it's just going to be more difficult to skill up professions, so the more you have ready to go, the better off you are. Even for cooking, you can even have all the recipes you need to go all the way to 225, so just be ready to craft all the things you currently have in your, like, that is orange for you, and have some recipes in your bags ready to go as well for cooking. In addition, engineering, same thing there as well, just have something that you're ready to craft that is orange for you, and then just craft a bunch of them. I do believe explosive sheep might be the best one to craft if you're playing engineering, so just have a bunch of those. 20 of those can give you 20 skill points right off the bat when phase 2 comes out. Now the last thing is just to make sure you have enough gold for whatever you need to have gold for. If that is for a mount, for example, the mount is about 45 gold once you are honored with your faction, otherwise it's 50, so just have between 45 and 50 gold and you should be good to go. Either way, you will make gold while leveling as well, especially if you're questing, a little bit less if you're dungeon farming, and possibly more if you're mob farming. The point is you will make some gold while you're leveling. The mount only costs 50 gold, but also there might be some BOEs, like materials that you want to have in phase 2, like for example a couple of our runes in phase 1, they were locked behind items that were tradable. Think about the dark iron ordnance, for example, and the shredders, the shredder parts for the rune. That one costs me over 100 gold early in phase 1. It is much cheaper now, of course, but if you want to have all those runes when phase 2 comes out, if you don't want to farm for them yourself, you can pre-farm the gold now, and then just buy the materials you need when phase 2 comes out. So my plan is just to go in with 250 gold in raw gold, and as you can see, we have about 136 right now, plus 100 on the other account, so we're basically there. That way I can go in with as much gold as possible, be able to buy anything that I need when phase 2 comes out. Now, while we are on the topic of gold, I have made a complete gold making guide as well that even includes Season of Discovery, and it's the ultimate Classic WoW gold making guide for Classic Era, Hardcore and Season of Discovery, and by having this one you also get early access to gold making videos, and we currently have 11 videos available for you guys that are phase 2 farms and phase 2 gold making ideas that will be coming out throughout the duration of phase 2, basically a pre-recorded video series based on what will be in demand when phase 2 comes out, that you can have access to right now by having this gold guide. So not only do you get 134 pages and more than 50 gold farms of pure info, you also have early access to 11 videos that will be gradually coming out during phase 2 and a couple of them before phase 2 as well. The point is you're getting a bunch more videos as well, so just make sure to join the Discord server when you buy the guide. The link to it will be down below. You will get yourself a bunch of gold, you will get a gold making product teaching you how to make a bunch of gold, early access to videos, and you're supporting me at the same time. If that's interesting to you, the link will be once again down below in the video description and the pinned comment. Either way, that's pretty much what I have for you today, just some final prep. Make sure to go and get the buffs, including Darkmoon Fair if you really want to have 10%. Like for me, 10% is pretty significant unless you die somehow, so yeah, might as well go and give it a try, and then just make sure to boon the buffs and make the most use of it, right? Either way, that's what I have for you today. Hopefully you are as prepared as me for phase 2, and yeah, I'm so ready for phase 2, man. It's like, I've been enjoying phase 1 a lot, but I'm so ready for phase 2. Let me know what you are most excited about for phase 2 in the comments down below. Let me know which class you're playing as well. I'm still kinda stuck between Warlock and Mage, and I'm prepping everything on both. So either way, I'm going to be leveling both of them at some point, but I'm still kind of unsure what to level first. Either way, that's the video for today. Once again, leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more Season of Discovery content. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.